Good day everyone, welcome back to my channel Soul is Life. Today I'm showing you the pieces that I'm working with. First I have the front and liner piece. I have the back and liner piece, and this is also a liner piece for the back. Each section is cut the exact same way as the front section. So we have the front, the liner and the front. We have the back and the liner for the back and the liner also for the back. First, I placed the side darts already on the front section of the top. After I placed the darts on the front section of the cup, the front section, what I did was I placed it down on the liner and I cut the liner out. That's one option for when you're doing the top. If not, there's also a second option, which is you go ahead and you cut the top without stitching the dart. So both pieces you cut it exactly as is with your dart allowances. You cut it and then you could stitch both darts on each pieces and it would line up. So this will be the front section. So you have one section with a dart and one section without a dart. So I'm going to go ahead and either do a dart So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and join the pieces. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the piece and I'm going to place right side facing each other. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to stitch the bottom all the way across. I'm just going to pin it along. So I'm going to stitch all the way across the bottom. I'm also gonna stitch all the way across the top. Keep in mind, one of the pieces has a dot and the other doesn't. So that's the reason why it's longer than the other. So I'm going to go ahead now, I'm going to stitch the whole bottom and I'm going to stitch alongside the top, and then I'm going to turn that over to the right side. So this will be inside and the right side, which is inside now, is going to be outside. So I'm going to stitch, not the side opening, I'm just going to stitch the bust area and the waist area. And I'm going to go ahead now and do that and turn it over, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. Just a quick jump in. If you want to put a bra cup in the top before I close the bottom, I'm going to show you. You flip it over so you have the top and the waist. So this is before I close the waist. I'm going to take the bra cup and I'm going to line it up to your breast point where you're above your darts, or you measure the top to your body and put a pin where your bust would be, and then you line the breast cup onto the top like this. I'm going to pin it down so you can see So this will be the breast cup. So this will be the breast cup. What you can do is, you could, from the top of the bust in a straight line down that goes with the darts, from here to here, you could go ahead and put a stitch all the way down, joining the two pieces together, front and back, and just go ahead and stitch all the way down towards the dart, to where the dart is. You could also do the same on the other side. Now, if you don't want to do it with a mark and you just want to leave it clear, what you do is you just lift the top side of the top, and you do the exact same thing here, which is you go ahead and you just flat stitch all the way down, so the bra cup stays in the middle. Line the bra cup up with the dart and go ahead and make one straight stitch up, and it's gonna look this way, so then you don't have any marking here. So this would be how you put a bust cup in if you want more structure to the top, and any top for that matter. If you're doing it, that would be the best way to put the bust cup in. So now I'm going to go ahead and close the bottom of the top. Here we have the two back pieces. I lined it up. One is longer than the other. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch here first. After I'm done stitching here, I'm going to go ahead, line it up with the end, and then I'm going to go ahead and stitch all the way around. So this is how it's going to look like when you place it together, and after you sew it, this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to stitch all the way around, and then I'll be back to show you what it looks like. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side of the back. Here we have the back section of the top. This is what it looks like after you follow the steps that I've shown. I also forgot to mention, and when you're stitching the back section together, this is what it looks like before you stitch here. When I showed the pattern pieces for the back section, it came with the liner, the front section, and it came with a square liner also. What I've done is I've stitched the square liner all the way around except one section. So everything else is stitched. I came from this way, and this way, and turned it over. When I turned it over, the side that is open, I placed it on the opening section of the back that you're supposed to stitch down. So I placed it between the liner and the front, and I pinned it down. So now I'm going to go ahead and stitch this down. So I'm going to stitch this down and line this up like that with this. So I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with this back section. I'm going to do it with the other back section. The only difference is I inserted the square piece before I stitched. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch down this, bring it over, line it up, and then I'm going to go ahead and stitch all the way around, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. After I've sewn the top area, what I did was I pinned the 2 back pieces onto the front. The 2 back pieces is in here. So I just pinned right side facing right side, and I put the liner on top of the back section, and I pinned it along both sides. I also pinned the waistline area, but I left a gap so I could pull the top through, and then I'm gonna flat stitch this down. So once you stitch the sides and half of the bottom, you're just gonna, the open space that you left, you're just gonna pull the 2 back pieces out, and it's gonna turn over to the right side. And then you're gonna fold this in 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, whatever your seam allowance is, and you're just gonna flat stitch it down. So I'm gonna go ahead now, stitch the sides and stitch the waist. Also, just so you can see, here is the back section. So I placed right side facing right side, and I put it down, liner facing liner, and I put it down, and that's where I'm just gonna go ahead and stitch it. So that's how you're gonna join the back of the top and the front of the top together, and also closure. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch both sides all the way down, and I'm going to stitch halfway along the waistline. Once I turn this over, I'm just going to turn it in and flat stitch it down, and then I'll be back to show you what it looks like.